The link is in your Google Classroom if you needed to reopen it, or you could go into My Drive. But if you have the link, you're going to click that blue button, make a copy. I know some people were not able to make one right away. And if you have this, you are going to write in your name here. So if I was doing this for like my last name, Cozy, and then sharing it with me means I can look at it later. We're going to use these in the future so that now you know how to do that. And one of the things I was mentioning is that uh, our class, when we have it open, is the tab with the red dot. You don't want to close that tab. You can bounce back and forth, and we looked at where these tools are. If you hold your mouse over any tool, it will tell you what it does. So the ones that we didn't really talk about, there's a zoom, there are backgrounds where you could set the whole background for the slide. I'll put this one as a pink one. And then you have the layouts, which you don't really need because we're not using to make a slideshow. We're going to make posters out of this. And then we have the text tool. When you make a text box, it's automatically invisible. And if you wanted to add a background to it, as long as the text box is selected, you'll get this menu that I also have pictured here. If you don't have a text box selected, that menu does not appear. So if you have selected the text box and you see the blue boundary box, then you can start playing with text. I'm going to write hello. And I want to change this font to be much bigger. I can click on the number and I can type in a number like 50 and click enter, or I can hit the plus sign to go up one at a time, or I could hit the minus sign, or I could select it like this. But if I want to change to get the font menu open, I'm going to click on where the fonts are, and the first option is more fonts. And then if you go into show handwriting fonts, fonts that you would like to take, you can just click. If it's blue with a check mark, that means it's in your font library. If you no longer want a font, you just uncheck it. It's that easy. And you can always add these fonts back in. It will remember which fonts are on your Google, just so you know. So now that I've got that, I can change it to a fun font. And I am going to go ahead and change the background of just the text box to blue. And then I'm going to go over to where it says text color and change that to light blue. Now, one of the things we didn't talk about, I'm sure you can figure out this is bold, italic, underline, but you can also make your font centered. And if you look at these, this is where do you want the font in the box. So if I click this one with the arrow at the bottom, it's going to drop the font all the way down at the bottom of the box. If I click the one that's in the middle, it will automatically place the font in the middle even if my box is thin or if my box is much bigger. Oops, come on. Grab the bottom blue. Or if my box is much bigger, it will always place it in the center. If you want to undo something, Control Z will work, but this is what you needed to know for fonts. In the shapes, a shape, when you have it selected, has the boundary box. Like this right here is a picture. It's just a screenshot to help remind you. The boundary box is going to allow you to stretch the shape to make it smaller. If you grab from the corner, you can make it taller and wider at the same time. If you grab one of the ones in the middle, it just stretches it across. And you'll also notice if I take this heart and make it as skinny as possible and then flip it the other direction, it flips the heart upside down. This will happen for pictures too. So if you wanted to, you can change it that way. This little stick with a dot will let you rotate. So you could take a new slide. I'm going to click this plus button to get new. And you could build a whole picture just using shapes. So here I could build the sky. And then I can grab another shape and build, whoops, the ground. I'll make this one green. And then I could start putting some things on top of it. And I'm just building with shapes. We're going to talk about that more next week. But the last one is if you were bringing in a picture, like I brought in this ocean picture, you can then start to make your own by adding other things in that have a background. And we call transparent background images a PNG, which stands for Portable Network Graphic. And when I go to Google search, so something that should go in the ocean, octopus PNG. And when I click on images for octopus, some of these have a fake PNG background. If I can see the grid, then it is a fake PNG. Meaning if I were to right click and copy the image to bring it into Google Slides, it has that checkerboard background. I don't want that. I'm going to look for one that when I click it, the background goes away. I'll show you again. This one, you can't see the checkerboard. When I click it, the checkerboard pops up. This is a true PNG. I'm going to right click, copy image, and then paste. And I can size this and place it down. I could spin it. Whoopsies. So you can have the ability to pop in images here. If I had one that was just a white background, well, that one also turned out to be a PNG. Sometimes you'll get images that look like this, and it gets put into the Google search even though a checkerboard doesn't pop up. And this one would just have a white background. I'm going to show you what it looks like here. So some images in the Google search will have a white background. We will talk about how to get rid of those on another day. But this is how you can use to start making some collage images yourself. The thing that we didn't look at in class, if you still wanted a chance to see it, is changing the slide to a paper size. So right now our slide is about the size of our computer screen proportionately, so that when I were to hit present mode, oops, I wanted it to only go in that section, but it wants to, can it presenter view? Excellent. I'll show in presenter view that it is sized to our screen so that when we go into our full screen presenter view, it will show up this way. But I don't want that. I want to make it the size of a paper. So what I'm going to do is go to File, Page Setup, Custom, 8.5 by 11. File, Page Setup, Custom, 8.5 by 11. These are inches. And when I hit apply, it's going to change it to a paper size. Now it also squeezed things, but it's a way that you can start making paper images. If I wanted it to be horizontal instead of vertical, all I have to do in my page setup is switch these two numbers, 11 by 8.5. So next week we are going to talk about ways that we can use all of these tricks to start making some different poster designs and to make some photo collages. All right, see you then.